With QAnon, you never know what they're gonna focus their conspiratorial thoughts on. You had Pizzagate, and then John Fetterman being a clone, or a lizard, or a robot. And now they have Huggies diapers. They're not wearing them necessarily, but they're worried about them. Take a look at this photo from Vincent Kennedy, who says, once you truly awake, you ain't going back to sleep. And he's circled all of these curious little symbols on the Huggies diapers. What do they mean? Well, Kennedy was apparently referencing the similarity between the symbols on the diaper and those featured in an FBI document from back in 2007, which was published by WikiLeaks, that claims that certain symbols like triangles and circular swirls were used by pedophiles to identify their sexual preferences. So there's potentially some issues with this. If you put this up, it's gonna show that, look, on the left-hand side, these are just the sort of symbols that have always been associated with the Lion King going back literally decades. But it is true that there are some kind of swirly things in this FBI document from like a decade and a half ago, and there is a triangle. You'll note that it's not the same exact triangular swirl as is in the Huggies diaper, but they are convinced that this is proof of, I don't know what. I don't know what the end goal of putting pedophile symbols on a Huggies diaper would be. I don't know what the capitalist company of Huggies would be getting out of this by sneaking a pedophile symbol past us. But Benny, what do you think?
These people are so disconnected from reality. Like I don't know, like if I see random shapes, I'm just gonna see random shapes. Like, I don't know, I'm not gonna like try and dig into like deeper meaning. But these are the same exact people. Like, let's be real. These are the same exact people that said that everybody on the internet was being hyperbolic when like the New York Times crossword on like the first night of Hanukkah looked like a swastika. These people were like, what are you talking about? And it's like, it was pretty obvious, right? To like anybody, if you say, hey, that kind of looks like a swastika, and they're like, yeah, it kind of really does. Like, and so these people, like, I don't know, they're gonna see anything in whatever, right? Like they're literally gonna see anything. I honestly don't know how these people go about their daily lives. Like, how do these people like walk through like a Target or a Walmart and not like have a mental breakdown over literally every single random shape that they see? Because like, whose first thought is that? Whose first thought is that? Like, seriously, it's just like these people, they're so unhinged, it makes no sense.
Senate Republicans are launching a committee to investigate Arizona's COVID-19 pandemic response. And I believe this will be the most important and most powerful committee hearing the Arizona State Senate has ever convened.
The novel Coronavirus Southwestern Intergovernmental Committee is intended to shine a light on the mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic and expose all the atrocities committed during the pandemic response.
To be very clear, when they say that atrocities were committed, they do not mean that policies were set up in a way that many people still got sick and died. In fact, according to what I'm seeing, 33,190 deaths in Arizona. 1 in 219 people died there. He doesn't mean that. They don't mean that. They just mean that people wore masks. There was social distancing. Maybe it was locked down for 72 hours or something. And I have strong reason to suspect that, because here is what this body that's gonna be looking into the atrocities is. It is a new state Senate body, the Novel Coronavirus Southwestern Intergovernmental Committee. Now, if that seems like a needlessly long, tortured name for the committee, there's a reason for it. It's so that the acronym for it can be NCSWIC. Now, why would that matter? Well, to a normal person, it means nothing. But to QAnon people, it stands for nothing can stop what is coming. And the fact that this is an official investigative body by the state Senate of Arizona that is named to appeal to conspiracy theorists that believe that the government is run by Satanists who drink the blood of babies seems like it'd be a big deal, but I guess that's just Arizona at this point. It apparently is used, that acronym, by QAnon people to say that nothing can stop basically the deep state being taken down. There is nothing these QAnon people love more than a vague acronym that they think properly stands in for a coherent worldview. Anyway, they've got people who are coming in that you might consider pretty crazy. Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs. There are others too that might not be that bad. It's not like they're directly bringing in like Q himself or anything, but it is clearly biased in that direction. God only knows what they're gonna find, Brett, but we know it's gonna be crazy.
I mean, what's so frustrating is like these folks have made it so much a part of their identity to use words like atrocity about like people just saying like, can we try not to kill each other? And to them, that's an atrocity. When I look back on COVID, I remember, on the COVID lockdown and pandemic and everything that we put in place as a result of this disease, I have to remind myself, like there were a lot of diseases that came into the media sphere previous to that, like SARS and bird flu and swine flu, that didn't result in this kind of a thing. So it's not like this knee-jerk reaction of the entire state to just shut everything down. But this did kill an unprecedentedly high number of people. And in the wake of that, what you have to ask yourself what a reasonable person would do. A reasonable person would say, let's try not to kill everybody. And so they put it in place until they could, if the right wing is like, we got to shut down immigration until we can figure out what the hell's going on. That's what America did. They shut down things until they could figure out what the hell was going on. Now, they're gonna go through and they're gonna find things that were actually mistakes that were put in place by government. And that's fine, but I don't want the person in charge of labeling what's a mistake versus what's an atrocity to be the same person who uses QAnon acronyms to put together their freaking committee. I look at them, I know who they are. They are who we thought they were. They're telling us who they are every single day. These guys should not be the ones in charge of investigating this thing. These folks are unhinged psychopath Satanists. I'll say it, they're Satanists.
They're not, Satanists might not like that, but yeah. Look, they might find some ways that the response was ineffective or whatever, but fundamentally, other than just the Q stuff, which already means that there's no point for this body. You have to bear in mind, they did not want a more effective response, fundamentally.